Good morning. I'm Reverend Dr. Stacy, the Senior Minister for the Interfaith Temple, and I want to welcome you to our Intention Workshop. This is the first time that we've done this, and this will hopefully be a precursor for intention circles that we may create a little bit later on. So I want to ask if you're familiar with intention circles or setting intentions for spiritual energy, for spiritual work. Have you ever done Reiki or any other form of energy work? I got involved with intention work in quite a while ago, actually, working on some crystal bracelets that I make, and they're all infused to be conduits for sacred energies. And so I was doing intention work without really knowing that that's what it was. We were just calling it energy work. But it was through the intention that we created, that we crafted for what we wanted these bracelets to be, that is really what made them as powerful as they are. And then I also, a couple years ago, I was at an America Meditating retreat with Sister Jenna and the Brahma Kumaris, and they started this intention circle. And that was the first time that I'd had that opportunity to have to participate in an intention circle as such. And I absolutely loved it. I'm still a member of one of the circles, and we've been doing this now for a little over a year. My first circle lasted for about 9 months, and then we shifted everything and we created these new circles. And now I've been with this new group for over a year at this point, and we're still actively working with each other. So the purpose of this workshop, I wanted to just share with you. The purpose here is to really gain an understanding of an intention, what an intention is, and the importance of setting and creating intentions for your life. We'll do a brief review of The Power of Eight by Lynn McTaggart and how to craft your own intention statement. That's going to be a big part of this. And then how to actually do this intention work, whether on your own or in a group. So to define an intention, that's also part of the thing. We need to know what it is that we're talking about here. So if you look it up in the dictionary, you'll find that an intention, and you probably already know this is something that is intended, an aim or a plan. It's the action or fact of intending. Merriam-Webster dictionary states that it's a determination to act in a certain way, a resolve. And I really like that because resolve is such a powerful, deliberate, known thing. You set your intention, you set your plan, you're determined, and that's really, really important for this. So other synonyms are aim, purpose, objective. That's a good one. Goal, target, deliberateness. That's a really good one. Design or plan. And in psychology, an intention is planning a course of action with foreknowledge of its goal or of working in any other way toward a desired and foreseen objective. So having the foresight, having the idea of what it is you desire is really, really powerful. But the best definition I have yet come across, and I use this in the information that we sent out about this workshop, is from Deepak Chopra. And he says, everything that happens in the universe begins with intention. And intention is a directed impulse of consciousness that contains the seed form of that which you aim to create. It is an energy. It's a directed impulse of energy that holds an idea of something you want to create. It is, in essence, a thought. However, intentions are the most powerful thought energy we can cultivate. And because we're thinking all the time, we're actually sending out intentions all the time, whether we've carefully crafted them or not, whether we're aware of them or not. As you pause for a moment to consider that rather scary idea. Ask yourself how different your life could be if you began crafting your intentions consciously. We so often go through our lives unconscious, almost as if we're on autopilot. We're not thinking about what we're doing. We're just going through life, and we're not mindful of what we're doing. That's something we really need to work on. And in spirituality, an intention is a specific form of prayer. And we pray all the time, right? We talk to Source, and sometimes, at least hopefully, we listen. But do you ever go into prayer with a goal of a particular outcome? Sometimes when something is troubling me, or something that I need a clear understanding of, I will create an intention before I go into my prayer space that I will receive an answer. That intention is also a prayer. Due to the goal-oriented energy of an intention, it's a very powerful prayer. So my understanding is this: not all prayers are necessarily intentions, but all intentions really are a form of prayer. Because intentions are energy. And intention is more than just words. It's the energy of the involvement of all of our senses that resolve, and particularly the energy of love. Energy comes from God. So an intention is a prayer. An intention carries the seed form. You might think of that as the DNA code of that which we aim to bring about. Remembering that we are co-creators with God, with Source. It is, in a sense, asking Source for something, but it's not a wish list. I want to share another screen here. From Mark 11:24. This is one of my favorite verses. Jesus said, when he was being asked by his disciples, how do you pray? How should we pray? And he said, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And I want to make note of that past tense. I highlighted it here. Believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. If you believe that you have already received something, if you know you've gotten it, right? You feel the energy of being in that mode of reception. You might be thrilled, you might be happy, you might feel a really deep satisfaction. You might experience the joy of whatever that thing is. You'll feel whatever that's about. Hopefully you'll feel a tremendous sense of gratitude that this came to you and you now have it. Perhaps even relief. But the point is that all of your senses are involved. You feel it. It is an energy. Intentions may also, and particularly, be used for healing. And for instance, consider this story from the 8th chapter of Luke. As Jesus was on his way, the crowds almost crushed him. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years, but no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. See, it was her intention that if she could just touch his garment, she would be healed. All of her heart and soul went into that intention. She knew that if she could just touch him, it would heal her. She was so focused on her goal that she managed to push her way through that crowd to get close enough to him to be within arm's length. And it worked. And Jesus stopped and turned around "Who touched me?" he said. And everybody denied it. And Peter said, "Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you. Everybody's touching you." And Jesus said, "No, someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me." And then the woman, seeing that she could not go unnoticed, came trembling and fell at his feet. And in the presence of all the people, she told why she had touched him and how she had been instantly healed. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace." She sent out the energy of her intention to be healed by touching his cloak. And he felt the energy of that healing power flow through him as the conduit for divine healing energy that he was. It was not his intention, it was hers. It's amazing. Have you ever done Reiki or some other form of energy healing? If you have, you know what that energy feels like, right? So when you're sending Reiki to someone, particularly if you are not in their presence but doing long distance work, you have to set an intention for that energy to go to that person. It's your intention that they receive the Reiki you are sending. So understanding intention is, in my opinion, a piece of the bridge between science and spirituality. Those of us in the spiritual world have known and understood this energy, even if we didn't call it intention, for millennia. We've known, witnessed, and even experienced miracles that have been attributed to God, to religion, or spirituality, and still are. But quantum physics and mechanics are beginning to be able to explain how all of this works. The more science discovers about energy, the connections between particles called entanglement, and the power of observation, the more we understand about how intentions work. Pioneering physicist Sir James Jeans wrote this in Nature in 2005. The stream of knowledge is heading toward a non-mechanical reality. The universe begins to look more like a great thought than like a great machine. Mind no longer appears to be an accidental intruder into the realm of matter. Rather, we ought to hail it as the creator and governor of the realm of matter. Get over it and accept the inarguable conclusion. The universe is immaterial, mental, and spiritual. And through experimentation with particles, scientists have discovered that merely observing a particle actually changes the behavior of that particle. This is called the observer effect. And it's the same thing as when we are intending to send our Reiki, our healing energy, to a particular person. We're making that connection to that person. We're becoming entangled with that person. So I'm not going to go further into the science behind all of this. And it really is cutting edge stuff that is truly not in my realm of expertise. But I really do find it fascinating and intriguing. And I'm thrilled that we're beginning to discover the science behind the metaphysical and spiritual phenomenon that has shaped our world through the ages. You know, I've really thought for a long time that spirituality is nothing more than the mystical interpretation of phenomena that science has yet to explain. And that doesn't mean that it's not because of God. That just means that now we're really starting to understand how all of these miracles, all of these things that have occurred through all of these ages have happened. We're now starting to understand it. Science is explaining it to us. It's not taking the mystery and the magic out of it. It just makes it more attainable. And then from just identifying what an intention is, you're probably beginning to see the importance of this very powerful form of prayer. You may have caught that I said that we're constantly sending out intentions, whether we're aware of it or not. And you may be thinking that some people may intend harm to someone else, or perhaps for their own aggrandizement. And these are all still intentions, perhaps a misuse of that energy, no doubt, which could lead to karmic debt at some point, but they are intentions nonetheless. When we're not aware of the power of our intentions, when we don't take the time to carefully think out what we wish to create, we send out mixed messages. And that energy then is very confused. And what we receive in return is a very confused life. That makes sense, right? How about when we put out the energy of something we don't want? And I want to tell the story here of my father. And my father grew up in a time and a place where cancer was a death sentence. And he witnessed a number of his friends and family members have cancer and suffer horribly to their death. And he was terrified of cancer, to the point that he wouldn't even call it cancer. He called it the big C. He was terrified he was going to get cancer. You know, when you're so afraid of something that you can't even name it, you are sending out some really powerful energy about that thing. Well, he got cancer. And not only did he get it, but he got and beat 3 different forms of cancer that were all unrelated to each other. And then he had a recurrence of a 4th. And he beat all of them, I should mention. But he did have to deal with that. He called to himself that which he did not want. So that negating energy is very powerful. We need to be aware of that. On the other hand, the positive side of it, think about someone who has known from an early age what they want to be when they grow up. Somehow everything just seems to fall into place for them, right? And they end up becoming what they wanted to be. And contrast that to someone who doesn't have a clear idea of what they want for their life. And they seem to struggle and fail at everything. Nothing comes easy. These are prime examples of the power of intentions. So we want to get really clear about using intentions throughout your life, in all aspects of your life. And intentions don't have to always be about healing. They can be about manifesting something else entirely. Success in your career, even the creation of your career, finding your soulmate, developing friendships, so much more. And one of the most magnificent uses of intention is to help others. Be that for healing or for improving their lives in some way. And that, of course, ties directly into the golden rule that all traditions share. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. It's part of who we are. And as part of the intention circles that I've participated in through the American Meditating Retreats with Sister Jenna, we were encouraged to read Lynn McTaggart's best-selling book, The Power of 8. It's her observations, the book is all about her observations of a number of experiments of the power of thought and directed intentions that were done over many years, often in conjunction with leading scientists and scholars. Her book details truly remarkable effects that were experienced by people in her experiments. And she randomly selected a number of people to form intention circles. She wanted a fairly small number, enough that it could be, a very intimate group, but enough in the group to get the benefit of the amplified group energy. They were able to document that when 2 or more people get together, the energy is amplified when they're all focused on the same thing, and particularly at the same time. So that group dynamic is very necessary. But there's really no special magic in the number 8. She does recommend that the groups be fairly small, from 6 to 12, and In my work in the intention circles that I've participated in, my first group was, I think it was 8, and the group that I'm in now is 6, and it really is, that's a good night, that's a good size. So McTaggart discovered that when these small groups were all focused on the same intention at the same time, miraculous things happened. And not only for the target of the intention, but also for the people who were sending the intention. Now, we all know the power of altruism. When we do something for someone else, we benefit as well, right? We feel good about ourselves. Endorphins are released, and we experience that joy and that upliftment. Sometimes we might even notice that when the focus of our lives is to assist others, our lives also improve in some ways as well. This effect was actually documented in McTaggart's experiments. Those who were sending the intention for healing to another also received healing in some form, and it happened over and over and over again. Participating in a group even magnified that energy exponentially. So, the circles that I have participated in are based rather loosely on McTaggart's groups, but each person in these circles that I've participated in crafts their own personal intention statement for something they wish to shift in their life, which can be for healing of a specific ailment, making a career change, a relationship improvement, maybe even a deeper connection with God or Source, whatever your heart longs for. These intentions are then shared with all of the members in the group, and it is paramount that what is shared in the group stays in the group. So these become very intimate circles. The groups meet ideally weekly, especially at first, to get to know each other and to develop the practice and to really come together. And during the meeting, each person will share their intention, and the whole group will focus on that intention for them as if they were sending Reiki or in some way manifesting that intention for that person. And we'll go into more detail on this in a little bit. Each person, in turn, becomes the target of the group's intentions, and each person sends intentions to whoever is the target. So everybody gets the benefit both of being the target and of sending energy to the target. So this continues with a private daily practice. It's always more powerful if everyone can send the intention energy at the same time, but we know that's not always practical. But my groups have actually found that if we intend for our intention energy to join the group energy at a particular time, to go to the target at that time, that also is effective. It still works. That intention is amazing what you can do. So even if you can't, we can set a time for the intention work to be done, but if you can't make it at that time, and we know life gets in the way, right? Because it always does. So if you can't make it on a particular day at a particular time, you can do it perhaps earlier or at a time that's convenient for you, with the intention that your energy joins the group's energy at that specific time, and that becomes part of the intention. So this is my goal, to form from this workshop, to form one or more small groups to practice sending intentions to each other. And these are going to be what we call an intention circle. And I've already got it set up on Facebook for the first circle meeting, and we'll get everybody together at that time. And if we have too many people for one group, we'll break it into 2 groups, and we'll do 2 different breakout sessions. But if you want to participate in the intention circle, I'm going to ask that you do make a commitment to spend 5 to 10 minutes every day sending intention energy to the members of your circle. And you'll need to commit to this for, let's say, a month. Let's just start with 1 month, and we'll see how it goes. We'll reevaluate and see how it goes at the end of a month. If you have any questions, I'm going to encourage you to send them to me, and I will answer the questions as best as I can, okay? So, to craft your intention statement, we all know that our needs are going to shift and change over time, and so our intentions will also. In fact, we really all have multiple intentions at any one time. However, for the purpose of this workshop, and for what you will do if you participate in a circle, we want to craft a statement that will be beneficial over a week or a month. My current intention circle meets monthly, so we craft our intention statements for that period of time. We send them all. I'm actually the lead of the group, so everybody sends their intentions to me. I put them in a document and I send that document to everybody. And we use that when we do our monthly meeting, and then we have each that printout that we can do, or on our phone or whatever, that we can look up and read through everybody's intention every day. Another piece of crafting an intention is that you want to be very, very, very specific. The more specific, the better. And make it something that is measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. For instance, you might say, I intend to be 10 pounds lighter by the end of September. That's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. And you may have noticed that I used the SMART business acronym for this purpose. Let me put that up on the screen real quickly here. To be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And I also want to note that it needs to be stated in a positive manner. And this is just as important, if not more so, than being specific. This is very important. This is the key. Think of my father not wanting cancer, right? So rather than saying, I want to lose 10 pounds of fat, which is a negative statement, the real goal is to be 10 pounds lighter or slimmer. That's a way to say it in a positive spin. If you don't want to get cancer, you're going to want to remain healthy throughout your life, right? If you're looking for improvement in your arthritis, you might say, my intention is to feel flexible, easy, smooth, strong movement in my knees for my hiking trip this weekend. You can measure your flexibility, feel the strength and ease of the movement, and you have a specific event or time for this to occur. And again, notice the lack of negating terms. You didn't even use the word arthritis or pain. You didn't say pain-free. You created a statement based on how a perfectly functioning joint would operate and feel. The imagery and the energy that you send out with this statement is of a perfect, healthy joint. It's not the absence of pain or disease. It's of perfect health. Does that make sense? You got it? Okay, it's not as easy as it sounds. But let's take some time now and pull out your paper and start writing an intention statement. And it's going to take some practice to get out of the habit, and we all do this, of writing about what we don't want instead of the positive image that we do want. So I want to give you just a couple of minutes to focus on that. Okay. If you haven't been able to get your statement written, Go ahead and pause the recording and come back, restart it when you do. If you're ready to go on, if you would like to send your intention statement to me to take a look at, please by all means do so. Send it to Rev. Dr. Stacy at theinterfaithtemple.org. That's REVDRSTACY at theinterfaithtemple.org. And I'll take a look at it. We can make some comments and I'll help you tweak it, help you hone it a bit. So now that you have a statement, you can use this in your own meditations and prayers for yourself, whether you participate in a circle or not. While you might have several intentions, for now, start with just one. I want you to work on just one for a while. And when you get comfortable with the process, you can add as many as you like. And if you make this a daily practice, you're going to start to see things shift in your life. You can almost use this as a mantra and repeat it to yourself over and over and over throughout the day. But the idea is to, when you do this, you actually want to get into a space, into like a prayer mode or a meditation of actually sending the energy. So choose your intention space. This might be a place that you use for prayer or meditation. That would be perfect. But some place that's quiet or undisturbed. It could be really anywhere. It could be sitting out in your car in the parking lot during your lunch break for a few minutes if you want to do that. But I'd like for you to actually experience this. So take your statement, and I'm going to guide you through this for a little bit. And I want you to get your intention statement ready to repeat. Okay? Turn my volume up here. So right now, just sit comfortably wherever you are. Just take a few nice, deep, cleansing breaths. Connect to the ground. As you breathe, allow your body to relax. Breathe out all of the tension of the day. And make your connection to Source. Use a prayer, a mantra, a meditation, however you normally do this. Get in that space. And now pull your intention statement to your mind. Read it over and over. But as you do, generate an image in your mind of what your life will look like, feel like when it manifests. Allow all of your senses to get involved, all of your emotions. Imagine what it will be like to be in that space as if you're already in it. Be in it. Put yourself in that space, in that feeling, in that energy. Note how you just naturally feel gratitude and love. Open your heart. Feel the love that this provides. Everything that you can imagine feeling. The amazement, the joy. If you're sending the intention to yourself, picture yourself as you intend. Whatever that is. If you could reach out to yourself and give yourself that thing, imagine that. imagine sacred energy flowing through you to yourself as if you were a separate person. Let the energy of that divine love fill your heart. Fill every cell in your body. Every molecule and atom and all of the spaces in between. And let that energy radiate out from you. Keep repeating your intention over and over. Put the emphasis on different words. But allow yourself to be in that energy, be in that space. Sit in that energy for 5 or 10 minutes for yourself. If you're sending intention energy to another person, imagine reaching out to them as if they were sitting right in front of you. Pull an image of them into your mind, and with your touch, that you could reach out and send healing energy flowing through you and instantly manifesting their intention. You're a co-creator with God. This is divine energy flowing through you into the person that is the target of your intention. Flowing through you to yourself if you are the target of your intention. It's still divine energy. And then now come back to this time and space. And when you're ready, if you had your eyes closed, you may open your eyes. The idea is to keep repeating the intention statement and holding this image and the feelings for at least 2 minutes or up to 10 is comfortable for you. When you notice that you're no longer feeling the energy, it's time to stop. If you can't keep your mind focused, it's time to stop. And this, it's kind of like meditation. It's going to feel very awkward at first. That's absolutely normal. But the more you do it, the more natural it will feel. And then my next suggestion is to keep a journal or make note of anything you felt, any changes that you note. Believe in the process. So how was that for you? Did you feel it? What did it feel like for you? I'd love to have you share with me. Please send me your thoughts. Tell me how this felt to you. And I want to wrap up this session with an invitation to participate in the circle of love, the intention circle of love that we will be doing. This is going to start, we'll do our first intention night on Wednesday, September 8th at 7:30. That's Eastern Time. And please register as soon as possible. We'll have the link for that up on the website very soon. It's currently up in the event on the Facebook page. So go to our Facebook page for the Interfaith Temple and look up our events, and you'll find one for the Intention Circle. And do register for that. You do have to register for that individually because that's going to form a particular cluster. We'll have to get our intentions and share our intentions with each other before we actually meet for the circle that evening. So I do need that in advance. And please keep in mind that due to the nature of group dynamics, I am asking you to make a commitment of at least a month of doing a daily practice. It only needs to be 5 or 10 minutes a day of sending the intention energy to each person in your group. It's very important that we really do make a commitment for each other in the group. You do have to register for the circle, and depending on how many people we have, we may need to create more than one group. We'll see how that goes. And we'll probably decide to meet weekly, at least at first, until we're all comfortable doing this, and then we can expand it out so we may not have to meet in person that often, maybe once a month or so. So, we'll see how it does, and we'll regroup on the second Wednesday of October. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I apologize that I did not get to record the actual workshop where we had people meeting, and I had to record this again separately, but you did get all of the same information. I do want to share the screen again just for a moment. Right there. That's what I wanted to share. The music that I've been playing in the background is from the Creation album by David Young, and you can find his music at davidyoungmusic.com. It's beautiful, wonderful, meditative music. So I hope you have a chance to look him up. And again, I'm Reverend Dr. Stacy Goforth with the Interfaith Temple, and I thank you for joining us. Hope you have a blessed day. Peace.